It was the moment the Golf grew up. Just over 20 years ago, Volkswagen unveiled a fire-breathing R32 variant to head its 4th gen lineup for this already iconic hatch. With a growling V6 Atmo engine, a proper Haldex-based all-wheel drive system, fat rubber and a pumped-up body, it immediately took its place as Volkswagen's performance flagship. And another 4 Golf generations later, this is the 8.5 update of its current ancestor, the Golf R, an equally focused all-wheel drive machine with about 30% more torque and close to 40% more power than that snarling R32 original.
CarsGuide's hitting its local launch with a suitably challenging drive program on road and track in prospect. So stay with us to see if this exceedingly hot hatch can earn a spot on your performance 5-door shortlist.
The new Golf R is priced just under $71,000 before on-road costs, which is a bump of $500 compared to the model it supersedes.
A new limited run black edition model, the details of which we'll get to shortly, weighs in at around $72,500. At that money, the Golf R lines up against a diverse range of properly hot hatches like the Audi S3, BMW M135i xDrive, Honda Civic Type R, Lexus LBX Morizo RR, Mini JCW and the Toyota GR Corolla. Even a higher priced outlier like the Mercedes-AMG A35 4MATIC. So the heat is on, and at 70 odd K, it's fair to expect a decent basket of standard fruit. If you want all the specs, check out our detailed written review at carsguide.com.au. But the highlights are Napa leather appointed trim, 3-zone climate control, 9-speaker Harman Kardon audio, a 12.9-inch multimedia screen with built-in nav, 30-colour ambient lighting and 19-inch alloy rims. Not bad at all in the context of this category, and there's a lot more. Like we said, go to the CarsGuide site for the full rundown. VW Australia has also announced an optional warm and hour package for the standard R, named after VWR's headquarters in Wolfsburg. For $6,500, bundling up 19-inch much lighter forged alloy wheels, carbon interior trim elements and an Akropovich titanium exhaust system. Limited to 300 examples, the Black Edition features dark accents throughout, including the wheels, badges, mirror housings, brake calipers and tailpipes, as well as darkened headlights and the lighter 19-inch forged alloys.
In terms of design, at the front there's a relatively mild cosmetic makeover with some changes to the headlights and the bumper, as well as a horizontal line across the grille, and the VW roundel in the centre is illuminated. From the side, the ride height is 20mm lower, then cosmetically you're looking at things like these matte silver housings on the exterior mirrors, blue calipers for the brakes behind these new design 19-inch rims, and in the centre there's an R logo rather than the traditional VW logo. At the back there are new customisable LED taillight clusters that can be set up for a welcome and goodbye sequence in the vehicle settings, as well as a larger spoiler here at the back of the roof on the top of the tailgate. Inside, from a design point of view, the big change is this appreciably larger central multimedia screen, running new software behind it. It has touch bars, physical touch bars along the lower edge for audio volume and climate control. The driver's display now includes a G-meter and GPS lap timing, which is a good change. And you've got this steering wheel with its own look and feel, and these great sport seats with integrated headrests.
There are alloy covers on the pedals and carbon grey decorative inlays around the dash and doors.
The Golf R is powered by a 2-litre 4-cylinder turbo-petrol engine that VW enthusiasts around the world know by its EA888 codename. In this guise, it produces around 250 kilowatts and more than 400 newton metres. The latter's peak, in fact, it's more of a level plateau, coming from 2100 to 5500 RPM.
That's an extra 10 kilowatts and 20 newton metres compared to the pre-update version, with power still going to all 4 wheels via a 7-speed dual-clutch auto transmission and an all-wheel drive system using a twin-clutch pack to manage front-to-rear drive distribution as well as torque across the rear axle.
So in the front, in terms of practicality, you've got nice big bins in the doors with room for even large bottles. There's also a box here between the seats with a lid that doubles as an armrest, and it actually adjusts for height and length, which is nice. Then, if you need more, a couple of cup holders, one of which is adjustable for even smaller cups. You've got a little oddments tray here for pens or coins or whatever, as well as a wireless device charging tray at the front end of the console. There's also a pretty decent glove box. So in terms of storage and then power, you've got two USB-Cs at the top there as well. You're pretty well taken care of. So in the back, in terms of space, I'm sitting behind the driver's seat set for my 183 centimetre position, and I've got ample headroom, legroom, and more than enough footroom. That said, I think 3 abreast for full-size adults would be very squeezy. Best as a 2-seater. Little kids will be okay. Even teenagers might find it a little bit tight. Then for storage, you've got big bins with room for bottles in the back, which is really nice. Fold down the armrest, and you've got not 1, not 2, but 3 different size cup holders in there. In front of me, there's a really nifty double pocket setup, so just right for a phone, as well as a more conventional map pocket down here. There are individual ventilation outlets, as well as the climate control for the rear section. 2 USB-C outlets down there to power up whatever devices you've got going back here. So really, not too bad. Just a bit tight if you're trying to fit more than 2 adults in the rear.
With the 60/40 split folding rear seat upright, the Golf R boasts around 340 litres of boot volume, which is decent, and that number expands to nearly 1,200 litres with the back seat down. There's a load-through hatch, tie-down anchors, a 12-volt outlet, multiple bag hooks, specific lighting and storage compartment to the side. No spare of any description, however, with a repair inflator kit your only option. The Golf R's official combined cycle fuel economy figure is 8.3 litres per 100 kilometres, which isn't out of order for a hot rod hatch with this much performance potential. Over the course of a 200 kilometre plus road drive on the launch program, covering mainly twisting B road and highway sections, we saw a dash indicated average of 9.9 litres per 100 kilometres. With a 55 litre tank, those figures translate to a theoretical range of around 660 kilometres and a real-world number closer to 550 kilometres between fills. Stop-start is standard but can be disabled, and be prepared for the 95 RON premium unleaded minimum fuel requirement.
So the Golf R weighs in at just over 1.5 tonnes, and Volkswagen says it will accelerate from 0 to 100 km/h in 4.6 seconds, which is quick. But the most useful thing is the amount of torque, 420 newton meters, and how available it is from just over 2,000 RPM, I think it's 2,100, all the way to 5,500, you've got maximum torque available. So even from low revs in a high gear, squeeze the throttle and the car builds up a head of steam really quickly, and the power delivery is nice and linear.
And on that point, the blue R button on the steering wheel is your shortcut access point to various modes: Eco, Comfort, Sport, Sport Plus and Race. And in the racier settings, what VW calls turbo preload steps in, more or less an anti-lag setup for smoother power delivery.
The transmission is super slick, and the nice thing is it will change quickly on the manual shifts. And if you're going into a corner, just lean on the left-hand paddle and the transmission will automatically go down to the lowest ratio available, allowing you to power out the other side really nicely. The other thing is, in the standard car, even with the standard exhaust, dial up the modes and you can get that snap, crackle and pop on the overrun. Suspension is by struts at the front and multi-links at the rear. In fact, 4 links, and you've got adaptive chassis control, which is monitoring acceleration, braking, the steering. We've been driving on some pretty rough B-road sections, and it's been wet as well, which has added to the fun. And the suspension has done a really good job. It's surprisingly refined, this car, given how hard it grips and how much it communicates back through the the seat of the pants, it is a comfortable touring car. It's almost like a GT in hatch form. It just eats up the kilometres really easily without putting too much stress on you as a driver at all.
We spent much of our time in Nürburgring mode, accessed through the race menu, which, no surprise, was developed on the famous Nordschleifer. It's tuned to optimise dynamic performance on undulating patchy surfaces and is a superb setup sweet spot for the road and track.
You've got progressive steering, which is a really nice setup. The road feel is good without getting too many jitters back up through to your hands. You point and it just goes exactly where you want it to. It's nice and accurate. And you've got the drive system splitting torque between the front and rear axles and across the rear axle. So it's vectoring across that axle. So it's helping you, if it senses that the car wants to turn more but might push into understeer, it adjusts everything under the surface and keeps everything under control. And you just keep powering along. Tyres are Bridgestone Potenza S005s, 235 by 35s, and we're on some pretty coarse chipped surface, and they're pleasantly quiet and help with the overall package in terms of gripping with admirable determination. Braking is by ventilated discs all around, and on these twisting roads we have occasionally been leaning on them pretty hard, and they've been well and truly up to the task. A nice firm pedal, progressive application, both coming onto the brakes and easing off.
Day 2 of the launch included a track session at Sydney Motorsport Park, and we can confirm the car is properly fast, balanced and predictable. The circuit's dipping, then uphill off-camber right-hand turn 4 in particular, highlighting its grip and the sophistication of the torque vectoring setup. We also went sliding on the skid pan in the car's drift mode, which biases towards the rear axle and is huge fun.
In terms of lower speed manoeuvring, you've got a 12-metre turning circle, which isn't fast but isn't tiny, so be ready for that. You've also got a 360-degree overhead view, which is very handy when you're manoeuvring, or if you want some real assistance, Park Assist will help you slot the car into the space you're aiming for as well. Under the heading of miscellaneous ergonomic observations, these sports seats in the front are terrific. Just the right amount of lateral support, yet comfortable over long periods behind the wheel. Speaking of the wheel, it is also terrific. Just the right thickness, perforated leather just where you're grabbing it. A very nice connection with the wheel. As well, from an ergonomic point of view, you've got the two screens, the central multimedia one, and all of the screens and functions there are pretty intuitive, and the adjustable, configurable information screen for the driver, instruments and car data, that can be adjusted from the steering wheel as well pretty easily.
The current Golf range picked up a maximum 5-star ANCAP assessment in 2022, and VW's IQ Drive driver assistance tech package includes highway speed AEB, adaptive cruise, lane keeping assist and departure warning, blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic alert, driver fatigue monitoring and more. The airbag count runs to 9, including a front centre bag. There are 3 top tethers for child seats across the second row with ISOFIX anchors on the 2 outer positions.
The Golf R is covered by Volkswagen Australia's 5-year unlimited kilometre warranty, which is a match for most brands in the mainstream market. Although it must be said an increasing number are stepping up to 7, even 10 years.
There's also a 12-year corrosion perforation warranty, which is a plus, and the recommended maintenance interval is 12 months, 15,000 kilometres, with standard service pricing averaging $840 per workshop visit over the first 5 years. 3 or 5-year prepaid plans reduce that number, with the latter working out to an average of $658 per service, far from over the top for a performance hatch like this one.
While some Golf enthusiasts will prefer the lighter, more nimble front-wheel drive GTI, this Golf R is now an even more serious machine. It's a great touring car, super sharp in the corners and represents good value relative to its competitive set. It puts cars like the Toyota GR Corolla and Honda Civic Type R on notice. Tolas Auto.